Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Steel Division guide. We're going to do part one. It's going to be a team deck overview, and then we're going to go over 1v1s in the later half of the video. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to do first Fallschirmjager. Let's go straight to it. First of all, recon tab. What is a must-take? What is trash? First of all, these units is a must-take. These are Panzerschreck units. They're just a great unit. They're just a normal Panzergrim pretty much with a bazooka, which is great. They also have one of the best sniper teams in the whole game. These guys are really good. These guys just mow down people. They also have more strength than normal unit, so it's pretty good actually. These are okay. I don't recommend bringing them. You can't bring them anything too interesting either. Transport wise, nothing that unique at all. Back into the infantry tab is where it gets a little more interesting. If you're a third Fallschirmjager player, you're going to see a little bit of difference here. See more cost-efficient infantry. You're going to get your cheap infantry here. These are really good troops actually. 20 points, 12 really good availability. 12, 20, sorry, 12, 16, 20. So better availability in the early phases. You're going to get Pioneer, Fallschirmjager Pioneer. So you only get one card of these, so use it, precise. You get 3 cards of Fallschirmjager. So you can either bring in A or C and get, normal availability. Actually, a little bit less, different availability. They have 8, 16, 24. You get your normal Grenadiers. These are just cheap, cost-efficient infantry. 9, 18, and 27. You get 2 cards of those boys. You also have a choice to bring the another Fallschirmjager unit, but like weak size, not good strength. Has a radar tray. Also has a Molotov. Pretty good, but pretty weak strength. I don't know. For me, not a good thing, but other people like it. Nothing wrong. Also, by the way, you do get a Grenadier squad, a 3rd Grenadier. I also get some Fallschirmjager Stern Pioneers if you want. Leader-wise, you have a choice between Fallschirmführers and also Grenadier Führers. I prefer the Grenadier Führers. They come in smoke. Availability is the same for A and B, but these guys can come and see if you're looking into it. I recommend about 3 cards in A, maybe 1 card infantry in B. You can kind of invert this if you want, maybe another card in B, and then maybe 2 to 3 in C. Tank wise, this is the weakness of this deck. I'd say the recon tab and we're gonna compare it to 3rd Fulch. The 3rd Fulch gets a lot of armor cars. They have a good infantry tab. I'd say a little bit better infantry tab in my opinion. I mean, I prefer that tab. Gives you even more Fallschirmjagers. I just rely on Fallschirmjagers. A lot more CQC Fallschirmjager Pioneers and Sturm and stuff. So in this regard, I think Fallschirmjager wins the recon tab. It's got all the same stuff, but it also has armor cars. It has a better infantry tab for CQC because it has better Fallschirmjagers. It's got better tank tab because it has medium tanks. This deck only gets heavy tanks. It only gets Tigers. So we're just see it's phase locked A with the leader. You have to get a 1 fed on all your tanks. You can either get 1, 2, or 4. I recommend doing A, B, C, C for team game. So again, a weakness, and then we go back to support tab. Very similar to the other 3rd Fallschirmjager. You get your MG42s, get your 34s. You can even bring dishardened MGs if you want. You get pretty good availability actually with these. Get your ammo trucks. You get your LG42. You only get 1 card of them. Commander wise, you can bring an infantry commander, this commander, or this thing. This thing's kind of dopey, but I recommend infantry commander in general. And never bring this, just because this can die pretty easily. Infantry commander can take up some shots, and also it can, it's really hard to spot it. Support tab, again, I don't think it's as good, or I think it's inferior to 3rd Fulch, and we'll take a look quickly. AT tab, you get some pumpkins, you get very little AT, you only get 1 Pack 40, you get 3 Jagdpanzers, you do get Pack 43s, these things are freaking amazing if you deal with IS-2 decks. You get these little 47 mils, these things are trash. There's no way to go around it. Don't ever bring these in team games or 1v. I see a lot of good players try to use them, and every time they use them, I always hear them always complaining about how they're crap. You also get 2 cards of Panzerschreck, which is pretty good. You get 4, 8, and 12. Moving down the line, though, to the AA tab. AA tabs, it's okay. You get 20 mils. You get plenty of 88s. This is the strength of this deck. You can bring them in the ammo trucks if you're feeling like you should. And you should if you're doing a team game. You can only bring them in A and B, though, so I recommend A and B. You can use for 20 mils. You can't bring them in any half tracks, unfortunately. You also get this like mobile AA gun if you really want to. It's in a truck though, so pretty fragile, like immensely fragile. Get these SDKF C2s. These things are actually pretty good. They get the job done. You need a decent amount of them to get people shot down though. Artillery tab, nothing to write home about except for 1 unit. And these are the 81mm because they have corrected shot radio, which is different from all the other decks. That's the same with 3rd Fallschirmjager. You also get these 105s. These things can shoot for 10 minutes straight without getting ammo, needing ammo, so they're really good as well. I also get some leaders. You get these 75s. I don't think these are really good. You can also get 81mm mores without radios. You get one more for it, but why would you do that when you can bring the radios? You also get 120s. You get one card. I wouldn't bring those. Air wise, what can we talk about? Pretty good air tab. You get G6 fighters. You also get these RE2, whatever these things are called, 200, 205, 2005. These things are awesome. It's a really good fighter. Get these bombers if you want light, little medium bombers, and just the buff of medium bombers. They're really good. These MV410s are okay for killing AT guns and getting out from flak. I recommend you go with the more superior version though, the MV410A1 with the bigger bomb load, the 500 kilograms. You also get some more bombers here if you really want to bomb. You also get some BF-109 with some just light bombs and some rockets if you're feeling a little lucky. But yep, that is the extent of this deck for 1v1s. But I really want to take a quick look before we go into the 1v1 section at third Fallschirmjager, and then we'll talk about it. All right, this is third Fallschirmjager. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Infantry tab, recon, just better here. You just get armored cars, so like that's just better. Like it's right up victory there. Infantry tab, you get better CQC infantry. You also get your own cheap infantry if you want to anyway. You get plenty of CQC, Fallschirmjager and Sturmjäger, some of the best infantry squads in the entire game. So that's freaking amazing. Sturmjäger are really, really good. You get even more Fallschirmjager in this deck as well. So I prefer, I just prefer it that way. Tank wise, get Stugs, a lot more cheaper, a lot more cost efficient. This tab, you get more LG42s, you get Fallschirmjager MG42s and 34s, you get Stug 42, just better than that. AT tab, much better I think too. More pack 40s, more light AT, some pumpkins. You also get this other light AT gun if you need it, and plenty of Panzertreks 3 cards. Or AA tab, you get plenty of 36s, just good 88s too. Nothing wrong there. Also, same with the artillery tab. You also get off map in this deck. No off map in first Fallschirmjager. Pretty big weakness, but you get the same artillery in every other regard. And then additionally, the air tab I think is on par or superior. You get these D3s, get some good heavy bombers or fighter bombers, what do you want to call them? Heavy fighter bombers. Get plenty of G6s. So, and they also get napalm if you want to be really cheesy and mean. So again, there is a big dilemma here. Why ever play first Fallschirmjager when you can play third Fallschirmjager, which is superior in almost every regard, in my opinion. You guys can leave a comment about that, but let's get into the 1v1 section because there's a lot of things to talk about. It can be a really strong and weak deck in a lot of regards, so let's get into it. All right, so the biggest weakness you face in 1v1s in this deck is freaking armor cars in light and medium tanks. You just get destroyed in 1v1s by these things because you have so little to counter with it. So you really need to, the only way to really do it is rely super heavy on Panzertreks, honestly, and pumpkins. You don't even get that many, so you have to be really careful. Pumpkins are pretty much a one-shot kill on everything. They do really good, like 200 penetration, so they'll penetrate anything. Damage is 12, so pretty good. So the weakness is you get killed by armored cars because you have no medium tanks, so you have to rely on heavy tanks. And these heavy tanks are expensive. If you lose them, it's a big freaking loss in a 1v1. So you really got to be careful with that. Furthermore, you only get 3 cards of pack 40, so if you're dealing with heavy tanks, you should be okay. You have Nightshorns and pack 43s, but these are pretty expensive. Pack 40s are a little more cost efficient, but the problem is, right, if you lose these 3 pack 40s, you're in this weird spot where Shermans can run around the entire map and just mow you down unless you get really close up with pumpkins, which only have a range of 750, and Panzertreks, who only have a range of 250. So you gotta be very careful. The objective of this deck is to punch hard and fast in ideal spots with your infantry. You have really good infantry, some of the best in the whole game. But I think you should find spots with medium range rather than just CQC. This deck is not the best in CQC because it only gets 1 card of Pioneers. And then your Fallschirmjagers will get mowed down by Tensaniki squads who are cheaper, and Partisanis. You have Molotovs who will suppress you and make you surrender. To counter that, you're going to need to use your leaders. If you don't use your leaders, they're going to surrender a lot of your units. If you keep in medium range, though, you can utilize your tanks here, potentially some of the other stuff. And then you also have to pair your infantry all the time with Panzertreks. Use these Panzertreks. These are going to be some of your 3 best squads. Also, you're gonna have to rely on these everywhere. You just got to keep them all over the map, preventing any mass pushing with armor cars. Also, I recommend bringing some cheap MGs. These things are really good. I recommend them. LG42s are some of the best in the entire game. Air-wise, you have a really strong air tab. Fighter-wise, the G6s are really good, a million, just awesome. Be very wary of these because these things are freaking fragile as hell when it comes to AA. They're great against enemy fighters, but when they come to AA, resilience is really bad. You get shot down really quickly, so be wary if you're facing a deck that has a lot of AA. So, second ID with Bofors and second stuff like that. Grenadiers are just cheap. They're really cost efficient. Bring those. Flamethrowers, yep, all good stuff here. You can rely on your 88s to help push the open grounds. Actually, this deck is pretty good on in more open locations and medium range. Like in medium range, you're just gonna mow people down with your Fallschirmjager. Fallschirmjager just destroy people in medium range. So think about those things. You just have to find that sweet spot between what type of deck you're facing. If you're facing a deck with no good CQC infantry, you can go for it and fight that battle. But if you're facing a deck with a lot of T-34s, you know, cheap T-34s and cheap Shermans and other like light medium vehicles like Panzer IIIs, you got to be very careful because you're going to be losing these big heavy tanks to things you shouldn't be. Ideally, you'll bring out the Tiger like in a key location and move around it, like attacking all the other spots when that thing is covering. So I don't know, it's a pretty tough deck. I think third Fallschirmjager is just a superior deck, guys. But let me know what you guys think. It's kind of weird in my opinion that this deck exists when there is third Fallschirmjager. You can kind of combine them if they really wanted to, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think about between first Fallschirmjager and third Fallschirmjager. I'm really curious. I've always heard a debate about it. I've always been the favorite for third Fallsch, but you guys let me know.